Hey, it's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. You know, it is our mission, our duty and responsibility to try to bring you news you can use. Today is no exception to the rule. I am happy to have us joined on the phone lines right now. A person of substance. He is a person that is part of the highlights that have been going on throughout the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We are happy to present and introduce to others, I should say, none other than the co-founder and general manager of HBCU Go, Mr. Clint Evans. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, well, I'm doing well, Mark. I can't complain at all. Today's a blessed day to be talking to you and your listeners.
Yes, sir. Well, we're glad to have you on board. A lot of things that we got to get out in the, as they say, in the open, but we don't have a whole bunch of time, so I'm going to get straight to the point. And you know, like I know, when you get to talking about these kind of deals and everything, man, everybody want to know what is the real dollar amount. So we're going to come out of the gate, if you can. Can you share with the listeners exactly what this deal consists of and how it's laid out?
Well, I tell you, it's a great deal. It's one of the best deals that HBCUs have ever had from any network that has amplified the overall brand itself and its existence. I would say this: Byron Allen put his money where his mouth is. I can elaborate how much he invested into the SWAC and to the overall deal, but I can tell you this: it's big. It was humongous. It was something that all the SWAC HBCU presidents, the commissioners, the coaches, the SIDs were just overwhelmed to see the tremendous and long-term investment that Byron Allen, our fearless leader, has put into the SWAC.
Okay, for those who are not familiar with the HBCU Go brand and what all you guys doing, you've been a co-founder.
Mm-hmm.
Can you bring us up to speed on how this thing got from A to B and moving forward to C?
Well, yeah, I can tell you that. It all started during my tenure as a senior vice president at BET Networks, along with my business partner, Curtis Simon, who is the acting president for HBCU Go. We had this vision and a dream that we know, in working in the cable industry for more than 35 plus years. Actually, Curtis brought me on board to BET. This brother has been an exceptional, fearless leader in the cable industry for decades. So we came together after our tenure at BET and said, hey, we need to really focus on what can we do to support HBCUs. Him being a graduate of the Central State University in Xenia, Ohio, where his mother taught for more than 50 years. His father was there as well, and he lived on the campus all his life. I got a chance to get into the experience of the HBCU community. I did not attend an HBCU, but I understood what the true passion and all the legacy and history that HBCUs had to offer. We started out going to Comcast. And then Comcast, before the transition with NBC, they told us, they say, hey, we think you got a good idea. Let's consider it. They gave us a deal in principle. They said, go get your financing right, come back to us, and we may can launch this channel with you guys. Unfortunately, when that leadership ended up rolling out and NBC came in and bought into Comcast, or Comcast bought NBC, all the dynamics changed. They would say, well, we got to go back to the RFP, and you know how that goes, and all of a sudden they were giving away channels to these bigger names in Hollywood who knew nothing about the industry. But you know what? We just say, we're going to stay our due diligence, and we say we're going to build this brand. We started out just a web portal, creating just a whole website. We went out and shot content. We went from that. We did a mobile app. We went from that, and we stayed the course. And don't get me wrong, it took us almost 8.5 to 9 years of really building up a library of assets. We said somebody's going to lean in, and we went to many different African American leading billionaires and millionaires and say, look, you really need to consider this network, not only because of the rich history in sports, but also the educational value that these schools have educated more African Americans in this country than any other college or university in this country, including those predominantly white institutions. They saw it, no one ever stepped up. One day, Byron called Curtis because they had a long-standing relationship. Said, hey, man, tell me about this vision. He bought into it. He said, hey, just give me a minute. I'm working on some other things. That's when he was closing up his deal with the Weather Channel, which, a lot of people don't know. It is a black-owned company now. So don't get that twisted. So he leaned in, came back to us and said, hey, let's do this. Let's make this happen. He says, I believe in it. I believe in the brand. I believe in you guys. I like your vision and direction. Let's grow this thing together. So we ended up merging with him back in October of last year. And I'm going to tell you something, Mark. It has been a tremendous takeoff. It's like the mothership has left the earth, and now we're about to land and turn it out. So that's where we are today, why HBCU Go is because of Byron Allen and his vision and his resources is able to help us create this brand that's going to be everlasting than any other brand that's out there. So we're very proud to be a part of the Allen Media Group family.
Well, it's like a dream come true. You have something that you know that is of substance, then it's trying to find that one buy-in. And all we need is that one buy-in, and then the one buy-in happens to be African American backed, happens to have deep enough pockets where they could kind of weed through some of the mines on the minefield to get you where your destiny is, and that is in the homes of your HBCU fans, those who know about the brand, and those who have yet to be introduced to the brand, which leads us to the deal that came up, and, I'll throw that, opportunity in again. Whenever you want to drop them numbers on what the dollar amount is, just be sure to say whisper it if you have to. We'll make sure that it gets across out there. But the truth of all of this is you're reaching areas that you know otherwise would not have the opportunity to reach. And how important is that for the existence of the brand and the spreading of the brand?
Very important. We know that when you think about the American culture, I mean all ethnicities, when they think of HBCUs, the caveat is sports. We say we're going to use that as a bridge and a lead-in and the caveat for us to get in to the homes and the mindsets, not just of African Americans, but also other cultures and ethnicities who engage in quality entertainment. That's pivotal. But think about our total landscape is beyond sports. We're talking about having original series that are very positive, that are very educational, informative, and entertaining. That's from comedy shows, original series, documentaries, films, short stories. We're gonna cover the full breadth of the African American experience, and really our whole goal is to deliver Black excellence and amplify that excellence 24/7, 365. So that's our mission long term, and we're gonna get there. We're seeing it now with the deal with CBS, who leaned in and said, "Hey, we want to be a part of this. We understand your vision. But now the time is right." The advertising community, they're leaning in because we were a forgotten brand for a minute. All brands take advantage of the African American community. Let's be real about it, Mark. We spend more than $1 trillion annually on products and services in this country, and we're still not fully represented within the media and entertainment business, no matter what it is. So now we're using a new platform, especially streaming, that's cost efficient and affordable to deliver this content. And as we grow our streaming service, then we'll move in to a cable or broadcast platform. That's Byron's next mission for us, like he has done when he bought the Black News Channel, which is now the Griot cable network. So we're very excited about that. Some of our inventory in terms of our sports will live on the Griot TV network, as well as some of our original content as well. So we're still going to reach that target audience, not only through streaming, not only through cable, and also broadcast. as we continue to grow this brand.
Now, it's ironic that you speak about those three platforms of broadcasting. We know that streaming is what's hot right now. And the caveat of streaming is you still have to rely on internet and you have to have some type of app in order to enjoy the benefits of that. But when you go toward cable and you go toward linear TV or some say free TV, I'm thinking that there is a resurgence of free television opportunities because of the ability to reach more homes, to reach more consumers that can buy into your advertising packages with the programs that will be offered up. What is the future of broadcasting looking like from your perspective?
My perspective, because I've been around the industry a long time, it would always have a footprint. Because why? Entertainment. Sports is big. Sports is big. If you notice on broadcast television from the big three, CBS, NBC, ABC, and I'll include Fox, four big networks, what dominates most of their content? Sports. When you think of cable, people go there what? For the original programming. It's not so much about the movies, unless they're new releases, but it's all that original content. Now, if you look at some of those networks that live on some of these cable networks, what is it? All about original programming. But who do they skew to? African Americans. African Americans are still the biggest end users of cable and broadcast TV. They know, as well as streaming now, they know on all three platforms, if it is not without us being a part of that major segment, a lot of these major advertisers would not have the billion-dollar revenue streams that they have. So we have to take ownership as a culture and identify and call out these companies like Byron has, and he's never afraid to sue with whomever. If it's McDonald's, if McDonald's is not being fair, not only to vendors, African-American vendors or suppliers as we call them, not putting more African-Americans in the C-suite positions and upper management positions, he's calling them out. If they're not reinvesting some of their resources that they put toward general market television and not putting more into black-owned media businesses, he's calling them out. And he's telling them, if I continue calling you out, I don't mind going down to the local jurisdiction, judicial system and putting it on paper. And he has done that. And he's definitely telling people, I don't want to do this, but you're forcing it to. Like right now, Byron says, there's one America. You know, for 450 plus years, there's been two different Americas. There's been those and us. He says, time out for that. There's one America. Until there's full equity inclusion economically, we will never achieve greatness as a country. So that's his mission, is to create one America in terms of the economic inclusion into everything that's already amplified out here. And I'm a big supporter of that.
Well, you keep reminding me of the infamous words of Mr. Don King when he would say, only in America. And Byron Allen is going to amplify that all the way to the bank right now. And it's a good thing to see. You're listening right now to a special edition of the Mike Prince Show here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We have on the line with us co-founder and general manager of HBCU Go, and he's breaking down some of the horizons of this HBCU Go deal with the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And you just alluded to something a moment ago that I want to touch on. I'm very vocal and have been vocal for a long time. I am a product of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I played baseball at Prairie View, was fortunate enough to graduate, reach excellence on and off the field with my performance by being recognized as all conference academically and athletically, and been covering this conference because I've always felt that there's been a need of a true coverage, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the conference and HBCU conferences throughout the country, whether it was Division I or Division II. And the problem that I've had with other major entities Sometimes I refuse to call their name, but they know who they are. When you come to the HBCU format or platform, there are a few dedicated journalists who know what they're doing, know how to get things done, and they feed off of us for information, for content, and talk about how it's a partnership. But you and I both know, as you alluded to with Byron Allen's part of his mission statement is, we all have to eat. How will that local beat writer or that small media company benefit from the HBCU Go / Byron Allen Group and its latest deals, not only with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but the CIAA, the SIAC, and other historically black conferences in the future?
Let me give you one example, and this is actually a two-part question. I'm glad you brought that up. One thing that we are going to pride ourselves on, we're going to create curated channels. What that does that mean, Mark? For these schools, each school can be able to curate their own content. A lot of these schools have great media communication departments. They develop some really great content, but they don't have nowhere to amplify it, but on their websites or their social media platforms. Well, we're going to create channels under the HBCU Go umbrella. We'll have curated content channels from all the SWAC schools. That becomes a position now. Byron says, let's do a rev share. All the advertisers that support HBCU Go and Allen Media Group, any advertisers that come through and look at anything for free, which we are, free brand across all of our brands, they'll be able to share in those revenue streams. Whatever that percentage is will go consistently back to the school every month. So instead of us cutting a check to Howard University or Texas Southern or Prairie View, everybody can reap the benefits because we're going to offer them a curated channel, or a tray as most people call them, a curated channel of their own. Wouldn't it be proud, Mark, that you go back and look at a Prairie View channel and see all the great legacy of content and what the young people are doing today, or what some of the historical content that they have right there at a Prairie View channel? What a phenomenal opportunity. And they're getting a revenue piece that can put back into the school to continue to build upon the legacy of Prairie View A&M University. That's a great piece. Now, second piece of that is that small to medium-sized black-owned media company. Like we discussed, Mark, who says we can't create our own radio platform and provide you content that you can amplify and target your local advertisers, and all that revenue that you generate through the content that we provide you will go benefit your company so you can continue to build and grow your brand. So those are some of the avenues that I know that we can do and build upon to support our overall community at large. So hopefully I was able to answer that, and hopefully your listeners will be able to understand some of the revenue models that Byron is looking at that we're discussing on the daily calls as we continue to grow this brand. And keep in mind, Mark, we only been there less than a year. It only come up to a year in come this October, and we've gone far 150% above and beyond of expectations than when we first came in. So imagine we're going to amplify this on 200 starting 2023.
Sounds like a very productive and aggressive plan, and going to be very excited to see how it all develops and unfolds. Now, let's get to another detailed subject. You're from the Midwest. You're from Chicago,
Yes,
and
sir.
you are familiar with the old game called Three Card Monte, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It appears that there was a bit of three-card Monte played when it came to your football scheduling. And
Yes.
there were two versions. There was an early version and then a revised version. And we know that a certain company, I guess, caught wind of what you were doing and kind of exercise their right to go back to the table. But from my understanding, isn't there normally a time period that once you select what you consider to be premium product, then once you've left that, then it's up to those in secondary range to claim them?
Well, to answer your question and to be very straight and honest with you, when we got into the deal, we got into it late when we sat down and talked to Commissioner Swag. Very excited about partnering with us. We're very excited to partner with the Southwest Athletic Conference. But he did let us know that he still had a contract obligation to a particular brand that we, again, like you said, we don't name for another 3 years. But he'd like to start moving forward, and he could, because they exercised their right to say, hey, we want to take these mini games, and now you can go ahead and do what you want to do with the rest of the sports inventory. I think they didn't understand what they were doing when they said that. Byron jumped on top of it, and of course, as you know, Mark, and we've talked before, he bought everything else up. But at the same time, that particular brand still had first right of refusal to choose their games, which were correct, and so forth and so on. Now, what happened, and everyone knows it out there, there's no hidden secret, we put our schedule out there before they put theirs out. And we have been getting more noise about what we're doing than what they have been doing probably for the last 7 years. So everyone's excited because, yes, it is a black-owned media. It's black-owned, it's black-managed. All of our content creators are African-American as well. Everything is all about genuine being African-American. Now, we don't, say other cultures or ethnicities can be a part of it, but the predominance of what we do is African-American driven. We got more than enough talent out here to be able to do what we do and do it well. So to go back to that, Mike, once he got out there and started bellowing up from the ground up, then the next thing we knew that they wanted this particular brand wanted to exercise their right and get 2 particular games that were on our schedule and to fulfill and complete their efforts on when they wanted to put it out there. Now, did it cause some concerns? It did, but you know who we are. Anything we touch, we're going to amplify. You can give us a piece of bread with no butter. Next thing you know, we toasting it up and putting something else on it. It's still better than anything that's out there. The unfortunate part is that I think a lot of young people at a particular university who was expecting to see themselves on our platform, unfortunately, has to be pivoted over to this other brand. We're free. This other brand, you're going to have to pay to see them. Everything they have, you're going to have to pay. You may see a couple of games on their platform, but everything else, you're going to have to pay for it. What would you do, Mark? Would you want to see someone, what you want to see for free versus having to pay for it? You do the math. So we will continue on, and we're very proud of the schedule we have. We're proud of the Southwest Athletic Conference for being there for us and having our back. And we will continue to rise, as we always do, whatever we have. And we can showcase the best and the brightest from these campuses where everyone can see, not only here in the United States, but across the globe as well. So that's our position here at HBCU Go.
Okay, sounds very good. And once again, productive and positive in a great way. Now, when people hear, you alluded to a moment ago, Byron Allen brought up all the secondary rights. And I want to break this down a little bit further if we could. It's probably going to be a 2-part question to this. When we talk about TV rights, we're talking about football, basketball, but there are so many other sports. I know in the case of majority of them, they have a minimum 14 to 18 sports in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. How will those Olympic games, non-revenue games, be covered and featured through your platform?
No different than basketball or football. We bought it all. We're going to amplify it all, especially when it comes to African American women in sports. It's a big, huge initiative for Byron. Not only on the field, but off the field, in the broadcast booth, wherever he can amplify African American women, in any areas of sports or any other intellectual property, original series, films, producers, whatever. That's what we're about. They're going to get the same coverage as you would see a football game or basketball. It's no different for us. It's all about delivering quality, 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 24/7, 365.
Okay. Now, when it comes to your broadcast teams, are you in position to announce who your broadcast team would be for the fall and the football season?
There are so many that leaned in. As you know, CBS is leaned in. The CW channel is leaned in. Byron owns 32 of his own regional television stations across the country, even on the islands of Hawaii. So we have reached out to any and everyone. Our coverage right now, in terms of U.S. households as a total, reaches right now about 66%. In terms of the overall U.S. household, overall of that, with about 75% of the households right now. That's huge, coming out the gate with a new brand that a lot of broadcast networks don't know that much about. One thing they know is about BET. Of course, it has a long history of 43 years in the broadcast and cable industry. You got TV One, they know about that, and Aspire. We're the new kid on the block, and we get that type of broad distribution on the broadcast side. That's phenomenal. It's unheard of. And again, I've been around this industry for close to 35 plus years. That's when I know we got something. We got something that these broadcast channels want and need. So again, I think that's a really good proposition and excitement for us. And it's excitement for all your viewers and your listeners out there that lean in. Let your folks know, friends, family, everyone know you got a place to come home to at HBCU Go. We are free across anything that you see of any of our channels. We offer to consumers for free.
Okay, very good. Now, another concern that people would have, and sometimes I just the messenger, so don't shoot the messenger. I'm just delivering the message. What's the quality and how will the productions look? Will it look like it's a B-rated movie, or is it going to be top quality? What type of broadcast team you're going to have? What type of production crews you're going to have? Are these going to have to be things that the schools produce themselves, or will you guys be sending crews out to these locations?
Oh, no. All of our premium content is produced by some of the stellar individuals that have been in this industry probably for 40 plus years. In terms of quality, the investment that Byron put into it, when you talk about delivering to CBS and some of the major broadcast channels, you got to bring it, and you got to bring the heat, because you only got one shot. Mark, anything we do in life, when you get that one shot, you got to take the opportunity to seize the moment. So he is putting a steep investment into these games to ensure that we look first class coming out the gate. Believe me, I know. There will be some student-produced games that'll go directly into our new mobile app that we're launching also on September the 10th. Even though they're campus-produced, we're even leaning in financially and also from a manpower perspective, more using our professional intellectual capital to go on these campuses and offer our intelligence to tell them how we want it to be produced. So we're doing all the spec work. If we have to bring in some talent or producers, directors, whatever we need to do to ensure that they deliver the quality that we're looking for, that's what we're all about. Eventually, as we expand our network, expand our mobile app, where it becomes more of a multi-viewing app, where if you go into our app and say in 2023, that's our goal, instead of you seeing one feed at 1 o'clock, you'll be able to see 5 channels at 1 o'clock of 5 different games. That's what the experience that we want to bring and engage our viewers and our listeners to see. Your listeners should know is that you can come here like, wow, I didn't see I see Hampton is playing Texas Southern. We see Prairie View is playing Howard at the same time. Well, you'll be able to flip back and forth in that mobile app, and you'll have that viewing experience. That you can see it on our website, our mobile app, and our digital platforms, and you'll still see some games, like I say, on the Grill TV cable network as well.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, with all these developments that are going on, and you got the specs, I'm assuming, that'll need to be played out. Will there be an investment in the individual schools that everyone's product would look the same as far as the necessary equipment, or would that be something that the individual schools have to come up to speed and make the purchase on?
Not at all. When you said when you came to the right fees, what we did, that's why we know I cannot elaborate the investment that Byron made into the SWAC. Part of that right fees, there is some other layers of funding where the commissioner will divvy up some of that funding directly to all the institutions to amplify and enhance their content offerings to not only just us, but also to their platform as well. So yes, part of that funding that was given to the SWAC, they're going to use that funding to really upgrade each and every school that to be able to deliver the quality content. Again, not only to our platforms, but also their individual platforms as well.
Okay.
So it have that same look and feel as you would see if you came to HBCU Go.
Okay, very good. And you sure you don't want to share that number with us?
Can't share that number.
Oh, well, you can't blame me for trying, right? I'm doing the very
Absolutely
best I
not,
can.
man. Absolutely. You know, you're a St. Louis guy. You from the Louis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm from the Chi, so you know how we got to rock it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking once again with Clint Evans, co-founder of HBCU Go, general manager here on the Mike Prince Show. Of course, we tell you each and every day, it is our mission to try to bring you some news you can use, and hopefully you are gaining at least a knowledgeable base and platform to stand on so you can decide for yourself, do you feel this is a win-win for everybody? I personally believe it is a win-win, which leads me to the next question. We know that there are approximately 2 to 3 years left on the primary deal. Now, I'm on record for saying that if you can generate the neighborhood number that we're hearing, and I'll put the number out there, you don't have to confirm one way or the other, but a 10-year commitment between $120 million, what will that do for the primary inventory, and would the Byron Allen Group consider bidding on the primary when the primary comes available?
He wants it all. That's all I got to say. When that deal comes up, sit back and wait and see. He wants it all. We will become the preeminent, true destination for all things. Not HBCUs, but the true destination of black college sports. Everything.
Okay.
Across the board.
Okay. Well, when he say everything, you know, I'm having to put that St. Louis spin on it. Everything.
Everything.
Everything. All right. Well, you know what? You might as well go for the whole enchilada, right?
That's right.
Might as well go for it. Now, with everything that's being laid out, everything that's been set up, we know that whenever competition comes about, it can get pretty fierce. It can get pretty ugly sometimes. And if I'm hearing that Byron Allen and HBCU Go are locked in for the long haul, you know that it's going to get, as they say, grimy sometimes. And keep your head above the grime, keep your head on a swivel. You guys, from what I'm hearing, are willing to fight this thing out all the way to the end.
Hey, if this guy, I'm telling you, Byron Allen, if you can take big brands and put them on notice for an ungodly amount of money in terms of lawsuits for them to step up, this is nothing to him. This is a cake world. You know, but you know, like you say, you from St. Louis, the Louis. I'm from the Chi. Byron's from Detroit.
Okay.
Figure that out.
Yes, sir.
Figure that out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. Now, I have to ask this. we're in the Houston market, and I know that you got 12 major markets and a lot of regional connections. And the closest market to my area right now would be the Dallas area market. Are there any plans of development for the Houston area? And if so, what are they? And if not, I guess the alternative that we would have would actually be to watch through the app. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, I'll tell you one, we have boots on the ground right there, right now. We have a dynamic young lady who spent 16 years in the academia world at Texas Southern University in terms of corporate partnerships and campus engagement. She just came on board full time to become our director of marketing and campus engagement for our college relations program. She's right there, born and raised Houstonian, and she is that boots on the ground. Her job is to make sure anything that's related to, in the Houston market, surrounding Houston market, to include all HBCUs, she's there to ensure that our brand is amplified. Not only that, there's also opportunities that are there that not only for us to amplify our brand, because we're all about giving back, is that in the internships that we can provide, because there's a lot of great young people out there that have gifts that don't have a place to go to share their gift and learn and gain experience. There's black-owned businesses there that she can work with people like you, Mark, who have a good footprint in that area, and how create some collaborative partnerships right there in the Houston market. We want to take ownership. I have a model of very, very similar to Nike, but before Nike would ever thought about it. Leave no stone unturned. What I mean by that, every time you turn over a rock, you're going to see underneath that rock, it's going to be HBCU Go. Anything you touch, you look at, it should be HBCU Go. So in terms of the Houston market, it's a very vital and pivotal market. We have to have full breadth in there, and it's going to take leadership like you. And the young lady's name is Miss Shannon Henderson. Look out for her. She's a tough lady. She's smart. She's sharp. She knows the footprint there. With you, Mark, you being sharp, being there for 30 plus years, you and her working tandem together, you're going to wreck that city. You're going to wreck that whole DMA. I believe that. And working with young people that are out there that can march alongside you, that new leadership on the streets, boots on the streets, man, HBCU Go can be a preeminent brand right there in that Houston DMA. I'm confident of that.
Well, sir, we're going to wish you nothing but the best in development and further growth of the brand, because it's long overdue, it's well needed, and it's something that can be beneficial not only for entertainment factor, but for the monetary growth that is needed in the black community, in the black media circuit. And whatever we can do to help support and promote, as I say, count us in. We're all about the moving forward. And with that being said, I really want to take some time to again say thank you for joining in with us on the show. I want to give you an opportunity to have any closing thoughts and comments that you might want to share with our listeners right now as we bring this segment to an end.
Well, Mark, I'll say very simple. I do appreciate you and your listeners for allowing me this time to share our vision. Truly, truly appreciative of that. Only thing I ask your listeners to do is just lean in and give us the opportunity to show what we can do. Everybody can talk a good game, but it's all about your actions. So just give us that opportunity, like James Brown says, open up the door and I'll make it happen myself. Won't do that. And we're going to make sure it ain't just about us. It's about all of us. It's a total inclusion. And I really appreciate you, Mark, for you being there and you understanding and listening to me and what we have to share. And I'll be glad to come back on any time and share, not the money, but I can share anything.
Well, hold on. You got to clarify that now. You got to clarify that. You got to share some of the money, but not the money that you're spending with the swag.
There you go. That's it.
Okay.
You hit it, Mark. Right there you go.
Thank you, very good. Very good. Well, look, again, thank you for joining in. And for those who might not be in that immediate area right now, they can go to hbcugo.tv. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, hbcugo.tv. Check out, support the content at no charge. Let me stress that again. Absolutely free. Free, free. It's not a fee. You're not dropping the R and having a fee. This is absolutely free. So let's get in where we fit in, support the brand that supports you back. And again, Clint Evans, we thank you so much for joining us here at the Mike Prince Show. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at the Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Visit the website at obnradio.com. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.